Welcome back to the KMBest podcast with Gerry Thompson. There's a lot to talk about here, but I think we probably have to start with congratulations to Zap Gase, Mani Davudi, the winner of the Golden Gauntlet World Championships. Zap Gase is dope. Generally someone who, like, part of the deck selection process, because I did give a little bit of advice to him, which is not like in if I get any amount of credit, it is extremely minimal and only in that I connected him to the person who actually gave him this deck list. But he stopped into my channel and he was like, what should I play in Golden Gauntlet? And I was like, oh, you should play Cerebro 3 or Mr. Negative. Because they're just decks with a million free wins. No one's is teching for them. Everyone's teching for move. Everyone's dealing with other shit right now. And Cerebro just gets to sort of exist in the exact same space as Mr. Negative without any serious, like, risk, right? It's just like you have far fewer counters. And so he plays Cerebro 3. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll take Cerebro 3. We work on a deck list together. It is absolutely batshit. I mentioned it in a video, and one of my viewers who is an avid Cerebro gamer named Jay Walla, he's like the Cerebro guy. He's like, Cam, this is dog shit. This is fucking terrible. Do not take this. And he goes and he finds Mani. And he's like, brother, please do not do this. I beg of you, take a better Cerebro 3 deck. And sends him the better Cerebro 3 deck, which is Jay Walla's build. Mani wins basically every game he plays. And that's the story of the tournament.
How many cards off was your deck?
Well, to be clear, it wasn't that I gave him a deck that Jay Walla then changed. It was that I tried to convince Mani of a couple of things. One of which was to not run Jennifer Kale. I failed to do this. I kind of liked where he was on the Lockjaw. He had Lockjaw in there for the longest time with M'Baku. That was what Jay Walla convinced him not to do. And that's really the only major... Those are the major differences there. But my big victory is convincing him not to play Valkyrie, I think. I think that's a meaningful upgrade to the deck. Other than that, it's entirely, he played amazingly well. One of the things that a lot of the high level players who were watching the tournament noticed was that, like, he just consistently played better than everyone he was playing against. And that's what technical skill from other card games will do for you. He's also got a ton of experience on Cerebro 3. I don't think it's a coincidence that, like, the finals are, Mani, who is I guess you'd call him a former Magic pro. I don't know if he was a pro so much as he did really well in a tournament and then became a caster effectively, but someone at a high level. And then Teebs, who's a former Hearthstone pro.
Yeah, I mean, Mani was consistently playing at a pretty high level, but was not one of the people that traveled a ton, but certainly locally people knew him. Like, he's in the Vancouver, BC area. And when I was in Seattle, like, he stayed at my house at least once and would come down to, our PTQs and Grand Prix and stuff, and we would go up to theirs and whatnot. And so, yeah, I've known him for a long time. He was always very, very good. And I think most people knew that.
Yeah. Not as limited in scope as someone like me, but a fairly similar case where online is the place where you just have access to the game, is my impression.
Yeah, I guess I first heard his name from Magic Online.
Yeah.
Same screen name, Zap Gase.
Yep.
And he was playing this weird Hive Mind deck. And that was kind of the thing that I knew him for.
I knew him for the DreamHack, where he finished second to Aaron Gertler, a buddy of mine. And they were also 1 and 2 on the arena ladder at the time.
Oh yeah,
that was a very funny moment for me. That's when I first, and then, like, he sort of entered a sort of parallel space to me, if that makes any sense. And we did an event where both of us were casting for, I believe it was the 985 Infinity Gauntlet series. I got to work with Mani, I got to work with Maria, and that was just like, oh man, this guy's so good at his job. He's so good at his job as, like, a professional caster. Both of them are just like, oh my god. When I look at myself and I look at them, there's just, like, I don't know how they even get themselves to that point. Just an incredible level of game knowledge and professionalism. And I don't think it's remotely surprising that someone with that level of success was able to bring it here.
So what is the deal with this tournament? Why is it a world championship? Did you have to qualify for this or
Yeah,
or what?
yeah. This one was the one that the other three fed into. It's I don't know, like the way the Golden Gauntlet works is sort of adjunct to Second Dinner, which is to say they sign the checks, but like the process and the running of the tournaments and the correct staffing of the tournaments and the casting of the tournaments, that's all through the company that It's Guest Gaming and them run. Like they set up a company to run this as a sort of like, then we bring our proposal to Second Dinner as this company, and Second Dinner just says yes or no, right? And I've talked a lot about how people need to go out and ask Second Dinner and make them offers and be like, do this with me, right? The person who exemplifies that more than anyone else is It's Guest Gaming, who is more willing than anyone to be like, I have a proposal that will realistically bring both of us value. And for a long time, it fell on, I would argue, likely deaf ears at SD because of the layers of things between them and Newverse, because of general wonders as to whether or not they even wanted to do this. I know that as newer people came into certain positions, that became a more palatable thing for them. They're more willing to do like, okay, let's see how this tournament stuff actually does. Let's see what we can get out of this. Let's see how the value proposition lines up for us, right? And I think it has done fairly well. That is my understanding. But I also think that they're professional enough that I wouldn't know if it hadn't. So I am generally, I would consider myself optimistic, but I really just wanted to say, I don't think people get just how much of this hangs on three dudes who do not work at Second Dinner. That is It's Guest Gaming, who is doing production for the entire thing. That is Models, who is the back end guy for the entire thing. And that is Gunny T, who is effectively the head judge tournament organizer for the entire thing. And those three, along with, I would say, Super Tech God, are the core of that company. And Super Tech God obviously wears 10 million different hats, but is a little more behind the scenes facing for when I interact with them. So I'm sure he is extremely important as well. But though that group of four is sort of like the people that, if you want to thank somebody for this, those are the people you thank. If you want to be like, thanks for doing competitive Marvel Snap, those are the people you thank. Like, they're the people who sort of beat down the door about this. And if you're like a Marvel Snap creator, shoot shots. That's the other advice I can give you, because this is because they kept consistently shooting shots. They've been shooting shots repeatedly about things like this, and that's how it gets done.
Yep, definitely. And if you're happy that something like this exists, it is because of people like that did the work to make it happen and everything. And there is no reason why other people in similar spaces could not be doing similar things.
I mean, I think the reason is that, bluntly, it is hard as hell. It is
for sure.
Hell. Like, when I ran a tournament, I outsourced most of it. It was fully outsourced to a different guy, right? And I lost money on that tournament, right? Like, fundamentally, that's what happens, right? That's fine. When SnapFan did their SnapFan World Championships, they lost money on that tournament because that's what it is, right? I kind of think that if you are trying to do tournaments, you almost have to approach Second Dinner, because what you do is you pitch it to them as advertising.
Right.
And without that, I don't like, tournament circuits do not survive without the company being involved. So it's obviously, there is massive kudos to Second Dinner for deciding that is a thing they want to do. Obviously, I enjoy it, right? But it does sort of represent, like, what exactly is this? And I think a lot of the reticence to be this kind of thing, a lot of the reticence towards tournaments is like, do we want that to be what our game is about? Do we want it to be a competitive game? Do we want to put a hot mic on people and put our name on it, right? Like, there's risks. And like one of the things I am stuck on that where it's like, if you ask me to make like a use case, like if you ask me to like bring a proposal to Second Dinner for like more tournaments, I don't know that I could. I think the best argument I can do is that they drive your community, but it might not necessarily translate into direct profits, just a healthier community. And I think that's an expenditure worth taking. If I worked for Second Dinner, I'd be advocating for that because I think that is important, right? But I don't know to what degree they thought that was important or currently think is important, or if it changed or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. I mean, I think to some degree there exist communities within just Discord, or I don't know, maybe even Reddit, I guess. But I think having a thing that people do that is semi-consistent, where it's just like, oh, I have this monthly thing where I get to like talk to people and hang out with them. And even if life is going on, or maybe you're not having the most fun with the game or whatever, maybe you do enjoy that monthly thing being on your calendar. And like, that's a big part of your life and how you exist in the ecosystem and stuff. So like, yeah, there are definitely reasons for those things to exist.
I've always said that what Snap needs is FNMs, but you can't really do FNMs, right? It's just not really a functional thing you can do. And so these big tournaments are as close as you can get. And they're not close, but they are important in that way, because while you can't do like a casual tournament or whatever. I think they might be trying to figure out something that makes a tournament a little more casual, a little different from competitive ranked ladder. And I hope they get there, but I don't know that you can do that additionally. I think that would have to be like subtractionally, like making rules that ban cards or whatever, right? Like you can make an event more casual, but I don't know if that makes it a better event. And I think that in the absence of a functional way to do Snap FNM, at least you can do Snap PTQs or whatever, right? Like you can at least get those.
Are you jealous? My big cat just hopped on me.
She's got something to say, dude. I don't know why you're silencing her.
Well, I was gone for 2 days. So I think what she's saying is don't ever leave again.
I think my cat is burrowed in. There's like next to me, there's a stand with some drawers in it. There's no drawers in the drawers. It's just like a stand with some hollows in it. And so she just like goes in there and like curls up inside those hollows occasionally. And I think that's where she is, but there's also a decent chance she's jumped into the one on the ceiling and is just up there and will yell at me to get her down, even though she can get down. I don't really understand what the point of it is.
I was looking up this way because that's where one of my cats is currently. She is very close to the ceiling.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to, like, she'll yell, and it's like, you got up there. B, I've seen you get down from there. C,
yeah, you could just do it, but she's just like, I'm not feeling it.
There's like a bunch of clothes that she would have to jump into. It's like jumping into a pile of leaves. It's probably super fun, but she's just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I don't want to jump into, actually, genuinely, some of the most expensive clothes I own are right there. They're very soft. And I bet they would be amazing to jump into if I was someone who was, no, she won't do it. Yeah, I'm generally very happy with Golden Gauntlet. I gotta tell you though, as a caster, I feel like I plateaued.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy to do. I've done some casting in my history, and like, I don't know that I ever had that thought consciously or whatever, but thinking back on it, it's like, yeah, I don't think that I necessarily was getting better, but I wasn't doing it super on the reg either.
I got better. Golden Gauntlet 1, Golden Gauntlet 2, got better. Golden Gauntlet World Championship Qualifier 1, got better. That was my peak. And then Qualifier 2, Qualifier 3, and Worlds, I feel like I plateaued. I don't feel like I'm improving. And I have to like put a lot more effort into it, because it's like I got to a certain point, and nobody, and this is what pisses me off, nobody will give me a straight answer on it. Everyone will just be like, you did great. Oh, you did great. Not a single time has anyone told any caster anything other than that they did great. And it's like, dude, I don't need to know that I did great. I need to know what I didn't do great. I need to know
Right.
how to, like, I need explicit things that are like, I want to get better at this, right? Like I can't get better if I don't know what I'm doing wrong, right? And so I need people to tell me what I'm actually doing wrong, but nobody will do that. It's like, you got to hold me to a professional standard here.
Did you cast Worlds?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to say that I could watch and give you feedback, but
You're not
realistically, I probably won't watch.
It's one of those things. But yeah,
like, I got two reasons. I could watch Monty just destroy people, and I could listen to you talk.
There is a game where he plays a fully armed and operational counterpick deck, which is a deck that has Red Skull in it and isn't even a Sauron deck. It's like a ramp Electro Nightmare deck. It's just a Red Skull in there. And he wins that matchup thanks to some absolutely immense they never have it. Like, just some...
I mean, yeah, what else are you supposed to do?
Yes. But it's just like, I think that kind of play runs counter to a lot of how people handle Marvel Snap, where it's like, all right, this matchup, I basically lose every single game if they do have it. So I need to just put myself in situations where I can win if they don't, and just say that I win if they don't. And that is exactly what happened. There were at least 6 cubes at stake where he was just like, they don't have it. And on at least one of those, he was wrong, but his opponent put their cards in the wrong order and lost. But other than that, he was just generally making those like correct calls.
Yeah, good call. Opponent makes a tiny mistake, or at least like the one time they do make a mistake, you get to capitalize. Like, all that stuff is super important.
Yep. And that's pretty much, that was the most impressive thing that he did, I think, because the rest of the top 8 was just like free matchups. That's the thing about Cerebro. Like, that's the other thing I want to really dive down on. Like, I think that people don't respect Cerebro. Like, there's no way that deck was supposed to be he was the only person playing Cerebro 3. There just isn't a way. That's not realistic. That's not real. Like, that's a ridiculous thing for it to happen, right? I think people under-respect Cerebro and over-respect Move. If you told me that those are the 2 best decks in the game, I'd be like, yeah. If you told me Move is so good that 84 people bring Shadow King and like 50 people bring Mercury in a field of 200 something, and like 4 people bring Red Skull, I would be like, well, I think it's pretty clearly obvious which one of these decks you should be playing.
Assuming, yeah, I mean, it is possible that they're not comparable. Like, even if like maybe Move is so good that like even if you're getting hated, you are better than Cerebro. But I don't think that is the case.
I mean, there were 3 Move decks in the top 8, so it is a very strong deck. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like Move isn't amazing. Move is probably the best deck in the game. But I don't really view the difference between it and Cerebro the way that I think other people would. Like, it's like the dynamics are very similar, where you tech or you die. And a lot more people had the tech for the Move. But Move is also a lot more open-ended. Like, it's a lot easier to stay against Move, which is an advantage for a deck that is really good if your opponents feel like they want to stay into you, because you're going to win when they do that. But I do think that just like Cerebro is just really good. Just a really ridiculously strong card right now. Really strong deck, and balanced in all the wrong ways, which is to say, what balances Cerebro is that like 35% of the time you just automatically lose. And it's like, that's not a fun way to balance. Like, it's just like, if you do the thing, you're going to win. And then like the rest of the time you automatically lose. And like maybe 10% of the time your point allocation of your, enormously large men matters, but mostly it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think when the first Cerebro change happened, I played it a little bit and I was just like, this is really boring. It's good. It's very good. But damn, it's just boring. You do basically the same thing every game.
I got in a Twitter conversation with Jeff Hoagland because someone said
Why?
someone said Cerebro is the new Hella, and Jeff quote tweeted it with like, this is dumb as shit, basically. I'm paraphrasing. He was just like, I'm so glad nobody in my community, like, whenever I see a take like this, it's not someone who follows me. And I have that take. I fully believe that Cerebro is the new Hella. He objected to it because he was looking at the micro. And I think this is why it's an interesting conversation. Because what Jeff was looking at was the micro. In an individual game, Hella's power being random is very different to Cerebro's power being predictable. And I think on ladder, that's like a meaningful difference in how they play out in the micro. But like fundamentally in the macro, what they are doing is the same thing. You don't interact with me at all. Only my game plan matters, and I will execute my game plan whether you like it or not. And so to me, macro-wise, they are very similar decks. That's still like basically the same thing to me. And he's looking at this micro of like, it's more offensive. Hella is more offensive because you don't know where the power is going, because it's like sort of a Cerebro with those move dynamics, which I could argue is a real take. It's just like when I talk about a metagame, I actually do think they are the same.
Well, both decks also are just like, all right, I'm kind of like playing cards, and then on the final turn, I do a thing that gives me a bunch of points, right?
Yep. And you can't do anything
that way,
about that.
Right. And in that way, they are very, very similar. It's just like, yeah, you could look at the micro of Hella is doing discardy stuff and cares about the graveyard and whatever, but like the end result is basically the same.
I agree with that. So solidarity with the man who got quote tweeted by Jeff Hoagland. I think he deleted his tweet. You shouldn't have deleted it, brother. You were right.
Got bullied.
Right. I stand by. I stand with. I gotta tell you, I think Jeff is right a lot. He had a response to like some political grifter that was like, the political grifter guy was like, "What do you think my political views are?" And Jeff was like, engagement baiting from morons on this app. It's like, get his ass. That is that is correct, sir. You got him. Nailed it. I agree with Jeff a lot more than I think most people do, and I just think I stand with you, man. Quote tweeted just for once. Also, I want to be clear. Sometimes when I mention Jeff, my comments, because like I said, I like Jeff a lot more than apparently a decent amount of people on the internet do. Don't do the fucking like whining in my comments thing. I swear to God, it's so annoying. Like, in as much as you, person listening to this, might think some content creator is annoying, I promise you, you complaining about a content creator in my comments is 10 times as annoying. They will never, ever be less annoying.
Yep.
It's so bad. Stop it. Also, just, I've mentioned this before, I would kill for that kind of name wreck. Like, people complaining about me and putting my name in other people's comments. Oh, that's views. That's money, dude.
No,
that's money,
dude. That's infamy.
Economy. It's money, goddammit. That's the attention economy. It matters.
I mean, you could be that guy. You could do like what Raynad did when he was streaming Hearthstone or whatever.
What did Raynad do when he was streaming Hearthstone?
Oh, just like tilting a bunch and like going on rants and stuff.
I mean,
like
I do that, but they're all like self-hatey. I should be blaming RNG or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Ben Brode.
Yeah, I should be just like yelling about how shitty the game is. I should just be doing that. That's where the money is. Nobody wants like introspection as to why it feels so bad when you lose. Nobody wants that shit. What they want is you to be like, this fucking bullshit ass game. Ben Brode has it out for me personally. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, melting down. One of my friends messaged me
just people tune in because like you don't know if the crazy meltdown is going to happen tonight or tomorrow or what, right? It's like you got to watch every time.
Yeah, one of my friends texted me that he was watching me on like a big screen at an Airbnb with some of his friends, and I was crashing out. And later they messaged me that I crashed out so entertainingly that I got his friends into Marvel Snap.
They're just thinking like, damn, I don't feel that way about anything in my life, and this guy clearly cares about this thing. It has to be significant, you know?
Extremely funny. like an extremely funny thing to happen in my opinion. I have crashed out into it'd be better if I made money off that though. Like, where's my referral code? You know, where's my like I need some incentives here, dog. When I refer
Yeah.
people to a game, give me some in-game currency, bro. Give me some. If I'm gonna suffer this emotional damage, I need to be compensated. Feel me? No, they don't feel me.
You want to hear a thing that is tangentially related to Magic cheaters?
Always.
I met a guy this weekend. I went back to Minnesota for a couple days for this charity event, and I met a guy who was in the car with Raynad on the way back from the GP in Denver, where Raynad got caught cheating and subsequently banned from Magic.
Yeah.
And he said that was a very interesting car ride.
Okay, I just like that's it. That's all you got. You got that was a very interesting car ride.
I mean, think about it though. Like that's one of the things where it's just like the thing happens, right? The person gets banned or whatever, but you don't really think about what the ramifications of that are. Where it's like, yeah, this person rode to a tournament with 3 other people, and like, now how do those 3 people feel? And like, what is that person saying? How are they crashing out in this 10-hour car ride?
Oh man. Yeah. That sounds like I think one of the things that like is the most annoying. I think when you think about like what playing professional card games entails, the actual function of it, the amount of carpooling you do with smelly, sweaty nerds is arguably the nut low piece.
Oh, don't forget trying to fit 8 people into a single hotel room, you know?
Yeah. You are living on the edge. And I don't mean like the edge in the sense of precarity. I just mean like you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are young, don't have a lot of money for the most part. There are notable exceptions because like a lot of friend groups, there's like one guy who's just like rich. But like a lot of young kids, disposable income for the first time, jobs that clearly allow them to do this or no jobs, and are super hyper into Magic the Gathering. And you kind of get a sense of like, wow, you're going to spend a lot of time with dudes with bad haircuts in extremely close proximity. It's
what's wrong with that?
The unsung life of the Magic grinder. That's what it is.
It's a lifestyle, baby.
I can almost smell a car right now. You know what I mean? This was never a lifestyle I participated in. Not really. I can almost smell it. The imagery is so vivid. I can conjure it up.
You know, for me, it was I want to go to these tournaments and I want to compete. I want to do all that stuff. And it was all means to an end. It wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to cram into this tiny car with 4 other sweaty dudes, you know? But sometimes that did happen. I won't deny it. I think we probably had 7 in a hotel room at one point, you know? But that's just what it takes, you know?
Yeah, that's the grind that you got to go through, man. I went to a movie yesterday. It was Predator Badlands. Good movie, by the way.
Wait, you left your house?
I know. I'm as shocked as you are, but I went to this. Me and my girlfriend went to the movie. It's in this mall. There is nothing else in the mall, so the mall is effectively just a movie theater with the world's largest amount of parking space. And
like there used to be things, but they all closed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it really sort of got me thinking about the ways in which, society has been atomized. And obviously I am like on the fucking forefront of being an atomized single unit in society that does not engage with the collective good in a meaningful way. Except in that I will no longer have health insurance because the Democrats are feckless cowards. That is how I engage with the society, which is to say I get fucked by it. This is a shocking indictment of the way in which, like, I don't think that lifestyle would meaningfully exist for someone trying to play Magic now, right? Like, what you do probably is grind Moto. That's what you'd actually do if you wanted to be good. And then go qualify for something on Arena, because once you're good at Moto, you're probably better than everybody on Arena. Like, I think you would be like me in the modern age, rather than, doing the PTQ grind in a minivan from 2004.
Well, the same selection of tournaments doesn't exist. So yeah, I mean, you can maybe every 6 months there's a spotlight series or an RC near you that you pile into a van for. But even, I don't know, like living in the Pacific Northwest, it was just like Vancouver's 3 hours to Seattle, Seattle's 3 hours to Portland, and that's kind of like the only stuff that's drivable. Whereas when I lived in the Midwest, it was like, okay, these things that are within 6 hours of me are all very doable, but like for every event that's like 9 hours away or 12 hours away, like there would inevitably be like some dude who is just like, oh, I'm going to drive it. Anyone want to come with? But that just doesn't exist on the West Coast. No one's like, oh, I'm driving from BC to California or whatever. You just fly because it's like a direct flight and it's $200.
Yep.
But Midwest goes hard.
Shout out to the Midwest, I guess. Shout out to the carpoolers.
I did go from Minnesota to St. Louis for an open with roughly 10 people in a van that had nothing. It was like an empty van. It just had the 2 seats and then some wood put down. Yeah. And then someone hooked up laptop and we watched like Mortal Kombat on repeat or whatever.
God, I cannot imagine what life. See, here's the thing is, when I was a kid, all I would do was read, right? Now I have a phone. All I do is read. It's just a different type of reading. It's not even that different. Like what I was doing before this podcast was reading a book on my phone, but it's just like a slightly more comfortable way of doing it because there's a backlight built in and I can like be on my side when I'm lying down and reading or whatever.
Did you need 10 extra minutes because you were just at a really good chapter or something, or what?
I needed 10 extra minutes because I took a nap. Like I was reading into a nap and I was like, all right, I've set my alarms, but I need to get 10 extra minutes in there just in case I don't wake up clean. And I woke up super clean and then my computer exploded.
Yeah.
So that's really what should happen. So like what I was doing is like up until like, basically what I did was I was like, all right, I finished recording 8 cubes. It's like 1:00. I tell you 4:00. I'm like, I'll get a couple hours of sleep because I didn't get sleep earlier. I'm going to go take some NyQuil in the middle of the day and go read until I fall asleep. You see why I was worried about waking up.
Yeah.
Like, that is what happened. But we got the exact right amount of nap in. I got an hour and a half, a REM cycle, and I feel great.
Beautiful.
I just absolutely nailed it, right? But that was an accident. Total accident. Anything could have happened based on how interested I was in the book, because I got to sleep at like 2:30, not at 1. So like I blew an hour and a half of sleep there. That's how that went down. The book, by the way, The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. That is apparently a 16-book series, and I read really fast, so I'm just happy there's a lot of things out there for me to consume.
Is Robin Hobb good?
I don't know. It's the first book.
Okay. All the stuff I ever saw, like people would recommend it, and then I just like read the description or whatever. I'm just like, this sounds kind of mid. I don't know.
That happened to me with Joe Abercrombie. I was like, oh wow, a barbarian named Logan. Okay, I don't give a shit, man. I was wrong. I'll fully eat that on Joe Abercrombie. The Blade itself, the whole First Law series, awesome, amazing, incredible. Don't get put off by the blurb. Robin Hobb, I have not read enough of to know if you should get put off by the blurb. I also got put off by the blurb here because it's like, isn't this a little bit tropey? Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
that was.
I don't know. Keep me updated. Let me know.
I will. Full recommend for Joe Abercrombie, by the way.
Okay.
The
Never
Blade,
heard, but like, yeah, the
really good.
name not great, and then yeah, certainly your description of the blurb not great either.
The blurb ass. Like I got recommended that book so many times and got put off by the blurb so many times. I eventually was just like, all right, sure, whatever, I'll just go read it. And it is absolutely phenomenal. It is an absolutely phenomenal trilogy. A really interesting, good series of books, because it's the trilogy, then there's another trilogy, then there's another trilogy. Really interesting, really good.
Trilogy of trilogies, as you do.
Yeah, I think he just kind of hit a point where it was extremely successful and was like, I need to keep telling stories in this world, but I don't want to have them all be the same story, right? Because one of the things that Abercrombie does really well is convey a sort of finality and brutality to his world. It wouldn't be right to tell the same story multiple times, or even a story in a similar era multiple times, because it would be different, right? I don't think any of them hit as hard as that first trilogy, because that first trilogy is a sort of exercise in expectation subversion that once you get what the world is actually about and like, it's a lot harder to like make it hit like that again.
Yep.
But I think his work probably improves as you go on, for whatever that's worth.
Cool. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And as for Robin Hobb, I've enjoyed the book so far. It's interesting. Not a lot feels like it's happening, but it's you get a sense for who the character is. And I think that's nice.
Yeah. If I talk to you about the Wheel of Time series,
I'm a fan. I don't know if you've talked to me about it. I understand why people wouldn't be, though. I totally get that.
Okay. So my friend was like, this is my favorite book series. You got to read it. It's great. And I was like, all right. So I read book 1. I'm like, this is okay.
Yep.
Stuff is starting to happen, whatever. Read book 2. I'm like, towards the end of book 3. And I message my friend and I'm like, hey, when does this get good?
11 is the answer.
He said, he was like, oh, book 7 for sure. And I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's like it really only starts hitting towards the end, is my honest opinion. Because I like the end of 6 is like this big pivotal moment, but there's like the process of reading Wheel of Time is the first one is very clearly ripping Lord of the Rings. And also doesn't know if it's going to have a sequel or not. So it has to like both set up 14 books and conclude the its own story in a sort of neat bow. And then once he realizes he's got the room to do sequels, he is like, okay, same story. That worked well. Let's do the same thing again. And then you like, it sort of starts doing that. It is clear at one point that he runs into a spot with a character where the character is at that character's end game, but no other character is. And so the character does nothing for 5 books.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, it's a lot, right? And I don't even really know that Brandon Sanderson sort of landed it in a meaningful way. I think he did okay, but there are definitely things that are like, you could have done better than this, Mr. Brando Sando. And I like Brandon Sanderson, but I feel like he could have done things better in a meaningful way. I don't know. I've read everything Brandon Sanderson's ever written, I think. Not everything. I've missed on his series for kids. But I've read everything in the Cosmere. So, like, I'm a fan, but I don't think the final book was his best work.
Oh, it's weird you take over someone else's legacy, you know?
Well, I think he kind of nails the first of the 3 that he wrote. I think he kind of nails it. Like, it didn't feel that different reading it. I think he kind of nails it. But it starts to get a little bit, the further he diverges from what was actually on the page, because he's following up very directly in the first of the books that he writes, and then he starts following up on his own things, and then you're just like if you just had to write the last one, I bet he could have done it really well. But like the last three, it's like he's done better. He's definitely done better work.
The cat just came down from the ceiling.
Yeah. I assume that's what happened. Do you want to talk about we're gonna pivot back to Marvel Snap 40 minutes into the podcast, I fear. Because I want to talk about Ezekiel Sims and how mid that card is gonna be. Comes out tomorrow, technically.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a lot of work for an Angela, I think.
I just think it's like, not only is it a lot of work for an Angela, it's like the game doesn't want to be Angela's, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too.
Like, you could probably make old Angela right now and it wouldn't be good. I firmly believe that.
Let's try. Let's revert.
Glenn, hit me up, Glenn. But yeah, like I like a lot of the reason those cards were good was because they were cheap investments. Hello there. To go alongside. Great job. To go alongside the powerful tech stuff, right? And like I feel like I keep repeating it because I don't think people get it. Like people see the results, but they don't see the process. But over the last 6 weeks, Second Dinner has completely changed the way in which you have to evaluate cards in Marvel Snap. You can't just look at the numbers on the cards anymore and be like, oh, if these numbers are good enough, they're going to go really well with my tech. If these numbers are good enough, it's going to be great. It's now, is this part of an engine? Is that engine relevant? How is this functioning as part of that engine? Does this meaningfully change the landscape of the game in a real way? And you look at things like Man Spider, right? Man Spider's probably a worse card, all else held equal, than both Spider-Punk and Spear Spider-Man. But Man Spider made a bigger splash because it does something ridiculous enough that your numbers are good enough to compete. Now, it's incredibly interactable with, I think it's probably like a tier 3 combo deck, but it made a big splash because of that. You look at Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk is a card that can be two things. It can be Old Rocket and Groot, or it can be Bad Human Torch. It is exclusively played as Bad Human Torch because nobody wants to play Old Rocket and Groot. And so, like, this is what I mean. Like, you have to evaluate these cards fully in the context of how do they fit into a well-oiled machine? How do they do something really stupid? How does this engine your way to winning a game against other powerful engines, right? And you look at Ezekiel Sims and you're just like, nope, he doesn't do any of that shit. He does none of it.
No, he definitely does not. But I don't know. What do you think needs to happen? Because I don't think that way of existing is sustainable long term.
Well, I mean, the obvious answer would be bring back the tech. But I don't know if people want that, right? So who knows? The real thing that they can do is make a bunch more Spider-Punks, which is to say a bunch of cards that fit into an engine. Like the way I would look at a successful card, the model for a successful card would be Spider-Punk and Invisible Win First Steps. Either something that creates a new engine archetype or something that meaningfully slots in to those engine archetypes. And I do count Man Spider as a success by that metric, right? Like, that's a thing. Reverse Shuri, I'm in for it. But, like, when I look at this Ezekiel Sims guy, or looking ahead, like, you look at Weapon X Wolverine, right? That card, maybe it goes in Destroy. Maybe it's an engine for something else. But there's appeal there, right? You can believe that this is a thing that is worth doing. Whereas when you look at Ezekiel Sims, it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to trick myself into thinking a conditional 2/8 is something I care about.
Maybe you're low collection level and you don't have a lot of cards.
I would imagine your 6,000 tokens would be better spent elsewhere in that situation, right? Like, I don't think he's bad. I think that's the other thing. It's just like, it's hard for a card like that to be good right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're gonna need to do something, because I would say a lot of the cards that get released are like that, where it's just like, okay, like here are some stats with uh some sort of tie-in. In this case, it's, the move stuff, or maybe it being a thing that gets bigger power for Superior Spider-Man or whatever, or just like Superior Spider-Man itself. It's just like, okay, you're just like a generic energy card with a hook, right? But if those cards are not cutting it, well, then yeah, maybe we do need to revisit that. And it's either you just kneecap all of the engine-y things, or you make more tech cards, or you kind of bring back some of the other ones. And I don't know exactly what the best way to go about that is. I just don't think that every week you can come out with a card that like goes into an engine deck or makes a new engine deck. I just don't think that that's sustainable.
I don't think it is either. And people talk about power creep. It's not power creep. The engines we're talking about are goddamn Cerebro and Destroy. Like, it's the opposite of power creep. It's that these things have had so many things in their way for so long, and now they have a lot of those obstacles being removed. And that is sort of what happens when you do that, right? Like, it's not power creep because these aren't the new cards that are doing it. It's just this, you get engined, you get the hell engined out of you if you do stuff like this. And it hasn't obviously hit a point where these are the only things worth doing. But I will say, when they took a point off a Cosmic Ghost Rider, I was like, ooh, damn, we might be getting there. Like, ooh, we might be getting to a point. We might be getting to a point. And I've been like a pretty vociferous defender of this type of thought of managing the game, because we've had tech be so dominant for so long that I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, we've got like a taste of combo, we dip our toe in and we're like, this water's too cold, and it's like, just get in it, you'll like it, right? Like that. I don't want to be like too reactionary about it, but
no, I think doing this for a little while is not bad for sure, but I do think that you need a plan for like our I don't think that this is sustainable for like 12 months,
I also worry they're undercutting their own work, where let's say you design cards in a world where this context isn't true, which I would assume, I don't know their design processes, is true for every card that is coming out right now.
Yeah.
I would guess, based on my understanding of, I'm pretty sure they aren't designing cards 6 weeks before they come out, that every card coming out right now was designed in a context that is not only no longer exists, but is relatively diametrically opposed to the current one. Like, it doesn't just not exist. There is a meaningful axis on which it is fully reversed. And I think that if I'm them, I would be concerned about that. I would be looking at like, okay, because we saw them give a couple of extra points to these cards. They were data mined. I think it was Spider-Punk went to a 3/3, something like that, right? Like it was a 3/2, went to a 3/3, right? Sure, whatever. One of the complaints I get a lot in my Discord is new cards aren't doing anything. They're not meaningfully changing the meta. And to me, I think that's because they missed low on some really cool engine-y pieces like Morgan Le Fay and Dormammu, and like nerfed down something like Invisible Woman First Steps. What's been a constant to me is that like when they do these cool engine-y pieces, if they're too strong, they get nerfed. If they're too weak, nothing happens to them or nothing meaningful. And that doesn't feel sustainable either.
Well, I think that Zombies is kind of the exception to that, right? Like it did enter a little weak. Scarlet Witch got buffed, now is a real thing.
Well, Scarlet Witch got buffed and Zombie Giant Man got buffed. Those are really big buffs. Like Zombie Giant Man effectively gained 3 power, Scarlet Witch gained 2. They were off by like 5 power on that package. Notable.
Right, but that is an instance of them actually taking action and buffing a thing that did end up weak. And that is a relatively new set of cards that is now playable.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I should give them credit for that, right? Because they did previously whiff on stuff like Morgan and Dormammu. They haven't really fixed it. But at least in the case of the zombie package, they were willing to be like, are bad. This engine is better now. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is a good move on their part, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, to get a new engine archetype into the game, it took the entirety of a season.
I get that. My counterpoint is it doesn't always.
Yeah, I'm not saying it needs to do that every time because, for example, something like Morgan Le Fay probably wouldn't take much. I think it would be like a couple of support cards to get her there because her the stuff that she's interacting with is stuff that already exists in the game. Whereas the zombie stuff, the horde stuff, like that was just a brand new thing. So yeah, it's gonna take more cards. But if you're looking for things that just like discard or destroy cards, yeah, we got those already, you know?
I think the thing is that really strikes me about this is I really wish that they made more second copy of effect. And I'll use Cerebro as an example. They buffed Cerebro, that made it way better. But it also made it so the entire thing is draw Cerebro or you lose, right?
Yeah.
I think they could buff Patriot in the same way they buffed Cerebro. And it probably wouldn't even be as good. But I think they can make Patriot say +3. But what I want them to do is to release second Patriot, because that would give it a different context. It doesn't have to be literally Patriot, just like something else that keys off of cards with no abilities. Something else that does something like that you can run as a force multiplier in Patriot, where like high Evo explicitly doesn't work with the card. And it's like, I don't think they do enough of second copy of a card. And I gotta tell you, based on how Spider-Punk fit in, if they're worried about making cards that fit into engines, making a second copy of the engine, that'll do it. That'll work. You can,
it
you
will.
Can make that happen.
I just don't think it's a great solution to the problem when you're talking about 12 card deck size.
Like I said, I mentioned this on the podcast last time. I've been playing the Warhammer game with 12 card deck size, and they let you run 2 copies of stuff. And I gotta tell you, I kind of love it. I kind of love the ability to run 2 copies of stuff. It didn't feel bad.
I think context there is different. I don't know exactly what their engine is, but I don't know. I mean, if Hella could play 2 Hellas, I feel like you would not be happy about that, you know?
I would be happy about that. And I don't mean like I'd be happy to play against Hella, obviously making Hella more consistent, but like it's bad that the only thing holding Hella back is that sometimes it just eats shit to itself. That's a bad way to have a card be held back.
Oh, I think so too.
If they had 2 Hellas, you'd have to actually balance them. I think that would be better.
Yeah. Fair. I don't know. I feel like when you if you balanced Hella, say like what would it take for Hella? Like she would have to like neg 3 all the stuff she reanimates or something.
Unloot cageable somehow. Like it's just a bunch of shit. Yeah. Like I don't know if you could do it, right? Like maybe you just rework Hella, maybe she's unsolvable, right? But like Cerebro, if you had Cerebro goes back to 2, but they print a card that's like not literally just second Cerebro, some other cool twist on if all your cards have the same power. Do something cool. You know?
It's weird because all the output is power.
Yeah, but like you can like you don't want it to be literally second Cerebro. You want it to be like a cooler thing. Maybe unlike Cerebro, it could like here's a pitch. It's a card that like dynamically changes what its power is based on the power of every other card in your deck. Like it looks at the average and rounds up. So it whether it's C3 or C4 or whatever, if you put it in a deck with all 4s in Cerebro, it would round up to 4, right? And then it would be like, you know, when you play 7 of the cards with my power, do thing that is cool or whatever, like double all their power, or just something, right? Like there are a lot of ways to make Cerebro a second Cerebro and make it so the deck has more dynamism in its game plan. Make it.
Yeah, it's like if you draw both, cool.
Yep.
If you only draw one of them, okay, you're still doing stuff.
Yes. That's the thing. Is like if you're only draw one, you still play a game of Marvel Snap. And obviously, like, I want to be clear. I think Cerebro is nerfably good. I'm not advocating for buffs to Cerebro in like a real sense. I'm using it as an example for like, this is a space that they could explore that I don't feel they have.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that you could do this, and honestly, the game might be better for it. But I do think that like everything would have to get retooled, and maybe juice is not worth the squeeze. Maybe it
Sure.
is, because it probably lends itself to being more healthy long term, if I had to
I
guess.
think so too, but I don't want to like, just be like, yeah, I'm positive about this and then look like an asshole, right? Like
because if the balancing mechanic for Hela is like, oh well, like the deck sometimes loses to itself, and like
yeah,
that
it's
is
trash. Terrible.
that is what it's balanced around. It's not satisfying on
Yes.
any metric. It's not satisfying if you're playing with it, playing against it. When you're considering like weekly OTAs or whatever, and like people are unhappy with the game, and it's just like nothing about this is good or positive.
In as much as these combo decks are a problem, the problem is that they spike based on things that are not meaningfully able to be interacted with, right? My Deadpool, that's in hand the entire game. Sorry, dude. And like, luckily, Destroy is a pretty interactable deck, but like the delta between a Deadpool game and a non-Deadpool game in that deck is massive.
Massive.
It's massive, right? I think Destroy is a good example of a deck though, where like they've done a lot of work making the floor higher. You can play Destroy now without a Deadpool and play a game of Marvel Snap, and I think that's really important. And this is why, like, I don't know how they keep doing it. It's amazing that for 3 years it's just been like Destroy is the deck that should be the best deck. It's so sick, it's so awesome, it does everything right. Every deck, like every time a new combo deck comes out, I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, you should be more like Destroy. The problem with you is X way in which you are not like Destroy.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's Destroy is the closest they've gotten to a combo deck that doesn't feel too combo-y because the combo is interactable enough and what it's doing is interactable enough, but it's still powerful, it's still satisfying, and when you aren't comboing, you're still doing cool shit. And none of the other combo decks are like that. The other combo decks are like A, B, C, Voltron, win game. That's it, right? And the dynamism of Destroy is what I really appreciate about it as a deck. The fact that it is so dynamic despite being what it is.
Yeah, it is good. It's just how many times can you do that?
I think it's a borderline miracle they have one deck that works like that.
Yeah. No, I do too. I do too.
I don't think you could have done that on purpose. I think if you gave me 100 shots at doing that on purpose, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, certainly when I started playing Marvel Snap, and it's like, oh, okay, there is a suite of cards that enjoy you blowing up your own stuff. The rewards, things like Death Null, Deadpool, like they've been there since the beginning, basically, right?
Null was one of the first Series 5s, yeah.
Yeah. But given how, I don't know, like it's not like the game came out and then they made Null. They probably had that one already.
Oh, I don't know.
I would guess. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think that I would have come up with like that specific set of designs.
I also don't think it would have been likely that specific set of designs interacts with your rules engine in such a fun and dynamic way. Like that feels like a 1 in a million, honestly. Like it's just like I don't know how I don't imagine they did it on purpose. Like I imagine they just thought it was cool. Like I don't think any of them when they were making this game had an understanding of the rules engine at the level that we do at this point, right? Like I don't think they got that, right? I don't think they understood what that would look like. And I look at those and it's just like they just absolutely nailed something they had no idea would even matter. But they did do it. Destroy is the GOAT.
Agreed. I mean, maybe that's why it's like so hard to make the deck better, is like you kind of just ginned it with all the things that it does for rewards already. It's like, oh, these are pretty good and cool and people like them. So what do? We make better Carnage or whatever. Like that's kind of where we are.
I mean, like I said, you could probably there's probably a lot of cards you could do that with. Like if every 6 months they were just like, we're gonna power creep one card and destroy, I bet that card would sell like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
I bet like that deck is currently crying out for better Deathlock. You know what I mean? It's crying out for it. You could do that. That would sell like hotcakes. Call me Glenn. I have solved at least once every 6 months, at least one card that you can make. I think, in that light, it's part of why I look at like X23, not X23, Weapon X Wolverine. And I'm like, is this guy compelling enough to deviate from the already powerful destroy payoffs? And I really wonder about it. Like,
I do too.
It feels like it would have been so much easier for them to just make him be like better Wolverine. It would have been a million times easier for them to just make him like, all right, it's Wolverine, but +3.
Oh.
Like they could have done something that hacky and it probably would have worked. I don't think they would want to do that. I think that like just looks bad to do like a premium version of an already existing character.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's like you could sell. I feel like some games do this, not any that I have played, but it's like, okay, you have Carnage, and then somewhere down the line you can pay 10,000 gold to change the text to +3 or something. Hello, cat.
Yeah, she was up there. She is a shockingly unathletic, ungraceful animal. Cats are supposed to be all graceful and whatever. She's not graceful. She is not athletic. She falls around everywhere. She like bumps into stuff. She can't catch her balance on the floor sometimes and skids. She bunches up when she's running because she doesn't have the traction that she wants. Not a graceful animal. Very pretty though.
Yeah, white cats are like that. Went to Deed's house this weekend. Huh?
I don't know anything about quote unquote cat lore.
Oh, just white cats being pretty.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I don't know if
famously stupid or something.
Yeah, famously imbalanced, famously skid across floors. No, I have no idea. Went to a friend's house this weekend and met his cats, and he had a white cat that had like an avatar arrow thing going on. It was like this black streak down her head, and then it kind of like faded on her neck, and then materialized again on her back. It was really weird. I wonder if that makes her go faster.
She used to have one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she used to have like a gray black mark on the top of her head, like a little bit of a yin yang. When we got her at the shelter, partly that was because it was like my previous cat was a black cat, and I was like, oh, that's a really nice little like balance / homage / whatever. It's a really nice gesture, right?
And then just gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Entirely gone. Totally disappeared.
That's how she got you. She was like, pick me.
Totally disappeared. But yeah, like we looked at the shelter website and I saw that and I was like, I am struck by the symbolism. Let's get that cat. And we went in and we met her and her like fellow orphans, I suppose. And she was nice and awesome and climby and cool. And she climbed up on us and it was like, all right, yeah, I could go for that. And then the mark totally disappeared. Now she's just a normal white cat. And I'm not complaining.
It's just a little sus,
Yeah, like what happened?
She gets adopted and then she's like, all right, I gotta wash this out now.
Yeah. Like what happened there? What's the deal? Was I scammed? Did they get a Sharpie out there? Did they do Jaylen Brown's hair? You don't know who this is. There's an NBA player who has.
I was gonna say that sounds like a sports ball player. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. He's going bald, and he's been like filling in his hair with not marker, but like fake hair follicles. In the process of like being in the NBA, sometimes what'll happen is your head bending down, you're dribbling, your head is bending down, it like makes contact with your opponent's jersey. he has left like smudges on multiple
Oh no.
players from his fake hair.
They're just like, dude, come on.
Yeah. Yes, that has happened. So
That's like you're sitting too close to someone in the magic car ride, and they brush up against you and just like leave like a sweat stain. You're like, dude, come on.
Jaylen Brown in a magic car ride. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, this is 6'6".
Oh, he gets a little sleepy, leans his head on your shoulder.
Fake hair everywhere. Well, the good news is no Magic player would ever care enough about their appearance to do fake hair follicles.
That's true.
Just not really something you got to worry about. It's just wouldn't ever actually happen. So, you got that going for you. That's a cultural victory.
I guess, yeah, we do have that. You can't take that away from us.
I don't have any Magic cheater news. I do have a story that I guess I'd like to mention on the podcast, which is there's a deck called Amulet Titan. It's basically been really, 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 really good for, I don't know, Dom Harvey posted his guide in 2023. So I'm going to guess since 6 months before then.
No. Google my name and then turn to Titan U.
I'm not Googling it. I can't
do it.
If I do, your
you have a
screen will
phone.
go black. Oh,
you have a phone.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's been good for forever, but it's this impossibly arcane, hard to play deck, and it is somehow both impossibly hard to play, incredibly annoying to play against, and this is crucial. Magic players are prone to what we might describe as selective information sharing. Which is to say, oh god, that actually just reminded me. There's a CEDH thing that I saw, which is like someone in a CEDH in a CEDH like competitive thing was something to the effect of like, I am going to win this game. I have demonstrated this loop. Now you can either concede or I can go through the loop and show you what's going to kill you. But if you don't concede, you will not see my win con unless you don't concede. Which is basically like, effectively, it's the Pross Bloom Mike Long cheat, just phrased in a different way. Where it's like, I am demonstrating this loop. You may choose to concede. If you choose to concede, like I want to say,
I'll show you.
Something like that, where it's like, if you choose, like it was effectively hostaging the time, where it's like, if you value your time, I won't show you the win con. You can concede, I'll show you the win con or I can go through the whole thing and like hold you hostage in this game, right? I was so taken aback by the phrasing that I honestly feel like I have to find it. It was such a weird thing. Because it reads like such a normal thing, but it like the comments were just like, what the hell is actually going on here? And my understanding of it was,
it sounds like someone's being an asshole.
That is my basic understanding, yes, that someone is being an asshole. But like, the ways in which Magic players use and abuse the social contract are varied. And with Amulet Titan, it's like, there's a lot of opportunities for that just because you're taking so many actions.
I mean, you could, but that would speed the games up where it's just like, hey, you're dead. Do you want to concede? And they could say yes. But like the thing with Amulet and it being complicated is that unless you learn the deck, you don't know the various loops. But like if you did know everything and your opponent was like, oh, I am playing a Titan with an Amulet and a Spelunking and this land already in play or whatever, therefore I can kill you this way. Like if you know the loops already, then you can be like, yes, I understand that. But if you don't know the loops, it's like, well, I have to take 100 game actions before I actually kill you, and then that person, like there's no reason to really learn all this stuff unless you also want to play Amulet.
I also
unless you don't want to
do
find
the
yourself
Google.
in these situations.
I did do the Google and 2013. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like the first. It's not the first article on an amulet deck, but it is the first article that has like a semi-modern looking representation of amulet. And I wrote that over a decade ago. And that is how long this deck has existed.
The reason I bring this up is because they mentioned in the ban and restricted announcement, which I don't actually know what happened in standard. Did they hit VV or Cauldron, or did they just like chill?
VV, Profs, and Screaming Nemesis.
You know what? Shout out to them for actually being willing to hit the chase card. I didn't expect them to hit the chase card. I'm not going to lie.
Me either, until the last announcement where they were like, oh, we considered banning either VV or Cauldron. We're leaning towards VV. And I was like, oh, shit.
Good for them. I mean, that's a real demonstration of integrity. That reminds me, speaking of demonstrations of integrity, Marvel Snap has had a scheduled that Cannonball Mercury bundle, nerfing those cards. What the fuck is wrong with them? Like, let's nerf Mercury into selling her for $100. Granted, I bought it anyway. She's hot as hell, but a bad idea. Probably cost them some money.
Probably.
But yeah, like that's like, yeah, okay. I there are little bits there where it's like, all right, you know, often it's easy to worry that, you know, a company is BSing you, right? Like, oh yeah, of course they do the thing that's better for the bottom line. And so it's nice to see a company explicitly not do that, you know?
Agreed. It's a rarity.
Anyway, in that banner restrict event, the bit I saw on Twitter was a bit that was like, if Amulet is still making games take way too long, in 3 months, we're going to ban it. And it's like, it's almost like saying, if the sky is blue in 3 months, we're going to ban it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Because it's,
what are you
it's
doing?
not like that. It's not like the Amulet players are going to be like, oh shit, we gotta sit down and like actually hammer out our mechanics and like learn how to play faster. No one's going to do that.
No.
It's also just the ultimate prisoner's dilemma, because like, okay, maybe two people do that, but you know that everyone else is just going to screw you over anyway. So why even bother?
It rocks so hard, because the other way to go about it is, ooh, I gotta
sell my amulets.
Not even like I gotta sell my amulets, but like, I'm an amulet hater. I gotta play amulet really slow and get that shit banned.
Yeah, that's fair. I personally own amulets, and I should sell them.
You're screwed. Yeah, you should sell those. Yeah. This is not financial advice. Yeah, I was
saying I need to sell mine. You should keep yours.
Yeah.
That's not financial advice, though.
Luckily, I don't own any. I still have that spreadsheet you sent me of my bulk. I started sorting it, and then I remembered why I hated sorting cards. My girlfriend was actually having fun, like, organizing shit, and I was just like, I hate this, and I know she's having fun, but I'm such an asshole if I, like, just be like, oh, you're having fun, you could do the rest. So I called it. I didn't want to pull that move. That's a move that you can pull it, but you're not a good person if you pull it, you know? Like, you're a bad person if you're outsourcing your work in that way.
Yeah.
Even if they are enjoying it, a lot of what they're enjoying it for is the time they spend with you doing the same thing. You're a bad person to just be like, oh, you're enjoying the task. That's a bad person move.
Yeah, VV went down all of $3, it looks like.
Okay, so shit.
Because it's like commander stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like those are mostly driving the prices of things, and it's just like over time that card is going to rebound and potentially go up because it's going to be harder to get them. And are they going to reprint VV at some point? Unlikely. You know,
mine always goes up, baby. Mine goes up. Always invest in digital pieces of cardboard. Go buy Bored Apes. Line always goes up.
Apparently Amulet went up $1 today. How did that happen? They're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna get our shit together.
This deck is so good that it's bannable. obviously we need to go buy them. I gotta go.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's like once you put a deck on notice of being banned, there are gonna be people who interpret that as like this deck must be really good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go play that deck. That's gonna be great. I'm gonna go play that deck. Which when it comes to Amulet, just means there's gonna be a bunch more people who don't know how the goddamn deck works trying to figure it out in real time. That rocks so hard. It's so cool. I love it so much.
And then they're like, oh no, right as I was getting to the point where I was learning how to play the deck, they banned my deck. How could they?
Man, I just think it's cool that Primetime is still around. That's a card that like I have a history with. And it's nice to see cards that I have a history with being around. God,
he can almost drink.
He really is 15 years old.
He could get his permit.
Oh my!
He'd be out there driving.
He's out here driving right now, man. Shout out to Primetime. What a beast of a card. You ever just think back to the Titans and be like, damn, they did like. I know they're not as imbalanced as the original, like, you know, Lightning Bolt, Healing Salve, Ancestral Recall, like cycle of 5 colors, but like, goddamn, are they off? Like, some of these are way better than the others.
They all had kind of like their time in the sun. I think the blue one is the weakest, but I played some of the blue one.
The blue one was like a 1 of in Rug Titan sometimes. Inferno Titan was like a 3 of, I want to say. Maybe a 4? I don't remember.
Valakut played Inferno Titan also.
Sure. Sun Titan was, this is almost exactly when I quit the Solar Flare deck in RTR. Or not RTR, in Innistrad. And obviously Primetime and fucking everything. Grave Titan and
Sun Titan was probably the second best one, and then Grave Titan was just like the big black finisher for a long time. I guess like Consecrated Sphinx was the thing that pushed that out more than anything, and then also embarrassed the blue Titan. But yeah, they're all pretty reasonable, and certainly all pretty busted and limited. But
well, yeah, they're the greatest. They're completely insane limited cards. Like they are the prototype for what a Magic card looks like, honestly. Like, when you want to talk about modern Magic design, the Titans are what modern Magic design is, I think.
Yeah, not just an ETB and attack trigger, therefore they are snowbally.
Yep. They end games in a fast and relatively enjoyable way, and boy, do they fucking end games. Like, and also, they don't die to Doomblade. It's like, honestly, when I look at that, I'm like, that's a great theory of card design. It really is. Because you'd think it's just like really stupid, really obviously busted, but it's what had to happen to the game. Like the problems it's solving are so much worse than what it is.
I guess Thragtusk was the other way about it, where it's like an ETB and a Leaves play.
Right. Thragtusk is a Titan to me. If you add like it just is. Like that's the same kind of card, effectively. And now they just make those kind of cards willy-nilly, and they're not even all that good. Like Elder Gargaroth or whatever. It's like
that didn't have an ETB. That was just attack trigger or attack or block.
They just do a bunch of stuff that's just like, if you put this back in 1997, it would make Richard Garfield go clinically insane. Yeah.
No, first you show a kid like a Shivan dragon, and then you show him like one of the new dragons where it's just like, if it deals damage to your opponent, it's just like you make 30 treasures, kill all their things, discard your hand, draw 40 cards.
Yeah.
And it's, oh my God.
I don't even know, like, there is a big part of me that has nostalgia for the creatures of early Magic. Where it's like, that's what I was about when I was a kid, is the creatures of early Magic. But they were so ass compared to every spell in early Magic. Like, it's remarkable. It is remarkable. But I do wish there was a format, because like there are formats that are like throwback formats, right? I wish there was a format where it was just the creatures of early Magic and none of the spells. Like I want to play Legions. That's what I want to play.
Oh God.
I want to play triple Legions draft. That's what I want to be doing.
Well, I get it. It's like you play a spell, it just goes to the graveyard. You
Yeah.
know? And your singer vampire is just like in play, just
Doing
turning
shit.
sideways, getting in there. Your opponent's
Yeah.
like chump blocking, maybe it's getting bigger.
Oh.
Like you get so much use out of this card in theory. In
Yep.
reality, not really. You play a singer and they either like kill it or concede.
That is the genius of the Titans, where it's like if they don't concede, you are gonna beat their shit up in 3 turns. Whereas like with a Sengir Vampire,
feels
the game
good.
could last for forever. Like
Yeah.
if you're doing Sengir or Morphling or whatever it is, like it's just like that could take forever. What's the point? This game is over. You're maximizing all of the bad feelings of this game.
Man, Morphling was both really sick and also really bullshit.
I think that's sort of how blue is, you know?
Yeah.
That's a lot of blue in early Magic, where it's just like, not only is it like it's shockingly good flavor that like rules lawyering people ends up on blue cards a lot of the
Yeah.
time. Like that's all right. It's clever enough, I suppose, right?
And that's what playing with Morphling felt like.
Yeah, you're rules lawyering people. Like that's what that card is doing. It's just doing a bunch of bullshit where if you are aware of all these interactions, the card is, I don't know, 3 times as good than as someone who isn't. Great thing to incentivize, I suppose. I think
Exactly the card you want to promote.
Exactly the card you want to see that card everywhere. Yeah. Is there a Marvel Snap Morphling? Probably, right? There's definitely some cards where it's like, what the fuck does this even do in this situation?
Trying to think of like the closest comparison and kind of failing. Snap is just such a simpler game, you know?
It also just has like it'll never have the Morphling problem of the game not being over, but functionally being over.
Yeah.
And
I
I
just
think
don't know.
Yeah, I think that's nice too. I think that's really all I've got for today. Do you have any Magic cheater related things that I've missed?
No, I just kind of wish I was in that car ride back from
Yeah.
Denver. You know, I feel like that would have been pretty fun. And it's interesting in that person was probably like, you know, someone was like, oh man, like this was really entertaining. Someone should have recorded this. You probably could have made money. You know, like that was what his career became.
I mean, that's the dream. I want to be great at. You kidding me? I want to do that. Absolutely. That's
You
the
could.
nuts.
Ain't
The
nothing
nuts.
stopping you but you.
Unfortunately, I'm a pretty substantial obstacle. I do want it though. All right, y'all. That's Gerry Thompson. I leaned my head the wrong way because my camera is mirrored and I thought I was going towards him. That's Gerry Thompson. I'm KMBest, and we will see you in the next one.